Hi, and welcome back to the California Townhouse Sprint Project. We're on Sprint 5. Just to sum things up in the report, we use business model canvas technique for specify and model requirements tasks. And this showed us key partners, activities, and resources. Um, this canvas also laid out the value proposition, customer relationships, and segments, channels, and revenue streams. For verify requirements task, we used item tracking technique to make it easy to see all the requirements and be able to prioritize, test, and elaborate on them. For validate requirements, we used acceptance and evaluation criteria because this showed us how the requirements measure up to different solutions. Define requirements architecture, we used a workshop to gather and discuss how the requirements will be laid out and how they will best work with each other in the home. And lastly, but certainly not least, for analyze potential value and recommend solution, we used risk analysis management technique because the risk analysis in turn showed us the benefits of each solution brought to the table. So like always, we're going by BACCM or the Business Analyst Core Concept Model. Now this is made up of change, need, solution, value, and context. Now in this sprint, for the change, the requirements of change and how they will be implemented, the need in this sprint, how the requirements will fit in with the home to reap the most benefits. The solution, we're analyzing different solutions in this sprint with the requirements implemented, and the value we're getting from this, identifying the different relationships the requirements have with one another and using them to our advantage. And lastly, the context, only enhancing the way we live. For specify and model requirements task, we use the business model canvas technique. Starting on the left side in key partners, we have lead certifiers and IT product suppliers, because those are the people we're going to be working with to help us meet our requirements of the 5 IT products and becoming lead certified. Moving over to key activities, attending lead certification classes are something that we're going to have to do, and providing instructions for smart devices made into the home to help along with the process of transitioning to a smart home. Key resources, smart devices, locations with service, and Wi-Fi capabilities, because we can't have smart devices without Wi-Fi capability or service. Cost structure would be the green certifications, because it costs money for us to be certified and stay certified. Value proposition, living where services can be reached. Again, going back to the Wi-Fi thing, government privacy, because of smart devices, there is a lot of data collection, extra steps to be clean living. So taking that extra step to be clean and leave less of a footprint. Customer relationships, formal, leaving a customer service line to call if help is needed, using the different smart devices. The different channels would be marketing and sales. The revenue streams would be house sales and possibly charging add-ons to use the different smart features or devices. And lastly, the customer segments will be singles or couples with no kids, just because it's smaller space. Moving on to verify requirements, we used item tracking for this task. I have the eco-conscious on the left and the tech savvy on the right. And what this will do for verify requirements is lay out all of the requirements that we had previously agreed on, and that will help us identify different trends, prioritize them, look at which ones are more of an opportunity as opposed to others, and that's what would really help with the item tracking. Moving on to validate requirements, we use acceptance and evaluation criteria, and we use this because it is a good technique to test the different requirements and to show how they'll be measured with the different solutions that we're come up with. So in the first box, we have evaluation criteria, which is the different environment, the cost, the customer interest in it. Moving on to define the measure, using metrics to define current state and target metrics to reflect achievements, measures solutions that benefit the stakeholder, and then the solution value ranking be true or false. So the requirements would be stuck into this acceptance and evaluation criteria, and if they come out true or false, to show if they would work for this solution. Next, for define requirements architecture, we conducted a workshop and that was very successful. And just to recap what we did in the workshop, we went over all the requirements and we laid them out in a current state template. We did this to identify the different relationships of the requirements and lay them out in certain areas that would benefit the best in the template. And for approve requirements, we did a risk analysis, and this was to show really the benefits of the different solutions that were thought of based on assessing the different risks or consequences, the risk level, impact, and probability, and then going off the modification plan, taking that all into account on which solution would really be the best for this project. So to wrap things up, we used Business Model Canvas. It was a great visualization to show how the requirements will be used. In validate requirements, we used item tracking, which laid out each requirement for analyzation and prioritization. Acceptance and evaluation criteria worked really well for validate requirements because it showed us how the requirements will be measured compared to different solutions. Workshop worked great for define requirements. Architecture, because it got everyone together to discuss how they will fit in the current template of the house in the best way possible. And analyze potential value and recommend solution. We used risk analysis management, and it worked to point out the benefits and risk of each solution we were deciding what to implement for the project.